Okay, so this is the second session for the auditing in continuation to what we were trying to do yesterday, right? So yesterday we talked about a lot of theoretical part and how are we approaching what is the actual requirement, and we broke it down, right? How do we go after, and we covered some of the procedures, what information we need before we start working on this and so on. So like I said, we have to have a strategy before you actually do something. If you just go to the table and execute, it will not work. So this is the requirement. Um, just to recap, these are the information they need, right? And then we said this is from BSEG table, and this information from BKPF table. All they need is one file, right? One file, all the company codes for all the fiscal year. So the company codes are 002ZZZ, and then the fiscal year is 2003 to 2008, and then we are going to work on the document type SB. And then we also mentioned yesterday how we can look at the document numbers for a particular document type, and we will populate that, right? So we got that all this information. There's a multiple combination. How do you actually do it? So I'm going back to where we left off yesterday. So BKPF is our target. That's the number one.
Jay, can I stop you for a minute? What was the transaction code you just used?
SE16N.
SE16N. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So the company code in scope is, I guess, 001 to ZZZ, right? And then the fiscal year is from 2000, is it 2003?
2003 to 2008.
2008. And then the document numbers are, we found a range for all the SB document types. So we put in this range, and, we could put SB as well. So first of all, we just see number of entries first. Is it doable or not? So we have some problem with this, reading this S. Oh, you see, I was doing SA, SB, I don't know. It's supposed to be SA.
SA.
Yeah, even yesterday I was doing SB, I don't know why. Oh, I was doing SB as well, okay. Yeah, this number range is not actually maintained. Some reason when we extracted, we are getting a lot of WE, WR documents, right? Anyways, so we just look at the number of entries here. I think we will get about 5,644. I was expecting more. What just happened? But this is right. Right. Anyways, for all the company codes, so we will have 5,644 documents. Now we know that we don't need all this information, right? We are going to deselect some of them. We keep the information that we need, right? So we need company code, document number, fiscal year, of course, document type, document date, posting date, and transaction code, correct? Username and transaction code. Let's just verify. Company code, document number, document type, posting date, the dates, username, transaction code. So these 5 fields, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fields. So we have 7 fields here. But this is actually, we have 8. That's because document date, no, we don't, oh, this is good. Document type, document number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's 8. So this is the information we need. I am going to execute this. So when I execute, I'm getting, it's limiting for 500. That's because, so this is a very important thing. You should pay attention. If you don't change this, you will get 2,500 and your numbers will be wrong, right? If you download it and send it to them, it's very obvious that your file only has 500 lines. All right, so we got all this information we need. Right click and save to a spreadsheet. And I have this from yesterday. I am going to overwrite this. We talked about a lot of good stuff yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't record this. So record those. Okay. Still calling the Explorer. Yes, so here I'm going to save this into this PC. Oops. Users. No, I don't know where did I save yesterday. Okay. So here I created two folders. One is the requirement, audit requirement for 2020 for a specific year. And so I'm going to say, actually, let's just imagine that I just created yesterday. I'm going to delete this. Actually delete this file. Okay. And here I am going to store this information, manual journal entry, line items. This is actually not line items, manual entry posting, document numbers. Okay, for so and so fiscal year and so on. So I'm going to save this. So the file is getting generated. The file is opening. It's automatically open here. So this is the information we need. Some part of the information we got. Now we don't have the line items, right? So we have to go to a different table to get the line items. The requirement is very clear. So they want this information as well. Okay. So as you know, one document number can have multiple line items, right? This line items will have different GL accounts, different amount, different cost center, profit center, and so on, and they sit in a different table, BSCG table. Then the link between this and this is the document number, fiscal year, and then the company code. Okay, that's a primary key. We talked about the primary key as well. So what I'm going to do now, I am going back to the BSCG table. Okay, if we missed yesterday, when we query any table, just to repeat, we have to make sure we populate this primary keys: company code, document number, fiscal year, line item. So this is a primary key. They call it primary key. Why they call it primary key? The combination of this will have only one unique entry that is called primary key. So here, yesterday we were trying to do by company code, because if you put all of the document numbers, okay, let's say if you put 5,000, if you put all of the document numbers, all the company codes, this 005 has a 5, this series of document number. Similarly, 1000 also has the same document number. So we will get multiple different results, right? So we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we want to break it down by company code and by fiscal year, okay, and do partial files. And then we will come back and we'll create one master file, and then we will do a VLOOKUP. So first file we will create here is, so let's work on one company code. So far clear?
Yep.
So I'm going to work on one company code 005, and then for all this, now again I have to do by per company code, okay? So per fiscal year, because the document numbers, the same document number will be there the next year as well. So that will have different information. So how many line items we have? We have, how many documents we have?
12.
12. Very good. So we have 12. So I'm going to copy this 12 and then go to the table BSEG. Okay. And since we are going to work on one company code, 005, and then the fiscal year is 2006. And then the document number is, I am going to paste here. So like we said, let's say if you have copying in 20,000 lines, 20,000 document numbers, you would not be able to post it here because this has the limitations. Now we only have 12. It's a very least number. System can take it. But here, if you want to pull, let's say in this situation, you got 50,000 documents or 60,000 document numbers. You won't be able to copy all the 60,000 and put it here. Okay. So you have to do again multiple process iteratively. Okay. So I just, since I only have 12, I copy and paste it here. Paste, upload from keyboard. Okay. All right. So what's the next thing to do is we have to deselect those fields and only select the field that we need. Correct. So right click and then right click and deselect all. And then, so we have this information we need, right? For VLOOKUP, we need this information, company code, document number, fiscal year, and then line item ID, and then what else? So what else we need? We need vendor, we need customer, we need GL account, right here. And then we need
Amount in local currency, amount in
document currency.
document currency, assignment field, text field, cost center, profit center, business area,
Right.
posting.
So assignment field, the text field, and then cost center is right here. And then profit center field will be PRCTR right here. And then we got text file, business area, and posting
business
key.
area, posting key.
Right. Then business area, and then the posting key. Okay. Right. So I'm going to execute now. I remove this limiting line items and level C. Not too bad. So I have the vendor, customer, GL account. Yeah, I don't have the amount, right? Sorry. So we need the amount because auditors need this amount, right? Amount in local currency, and this should be document currency. Great. Now execute. So now we got the information. So I'm going to download this and save this. So I will create one file. I'll create one file per company code per fiscal year, right? So this is for line items, company code 005 and underscore 2006. Great. When I save this, it is going to open. Then from here, we will do the VLOOKUP. So this is the information from BSEG table. Now, we need to bring this information to here because a document number have more than one line items, right? So they can let's see if we take the first one, it has multiple line items. So it's appropriate to bring those information to here, right? So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to do this from here. Okay, I'll just do this here and then, or I can just leave some spaces here, right? I can do this too. Insert columns because this is where we need. Okay, so here we need, we have the line items. Okay, I'm going to copy, paste here, and then we need document type, right? And then we have posting date, and then we need document date, and then we need username, and then we need a transaction code, and then that's it. So we need that. That's this from here. Posting date, yes. So we have this. So this file. So we're gonna bring that information from the header table to this line item table, right? First thing we need to do is we need to convert them to numbers. When you're doing a VLOOKUP, they have to convert the numbers because anyways they're showing an error. Okay, now they are numbers, but this should not be a number, right? The company code should not be a number because if you change the number, it becomes 5. As a matter of fact, it is 005, right? Correct?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Great. So we have this document type. So first thing, we're going to VLOOKUP. So do a VLOOKUP here. Okay. The information that we're looking for is VLOOKUP. Click VLOOKUP and then select the document numbers. So if you have too many rows, you can just simply do this. So you can just do this here. Okay. So B colon B, right? You can also do that. So I'm going to do this. Actually, no. B30. I can just put B colon B. Okay. This whole thing. And then the table array is the next spreadsheet because we are going to read the information from here, right?
Right.
And then the column index number is, we're going to bring the column index number. Let's say we're going to bring the document type 1, 2, 3. Okay. And obviously, the format, yeah, something wrong with this. So I do it again. Select the function, click the VLOOKUP, and then select this, the documents, and then go to the table array, which is this guy, and then select from here all the way to the column, which I did. Then index number, I'm going to bring the 3 document type. Okay. Select. Okay. Because it's not applicable, that's the reason, the reason the original document here, it is not in numbers. So I'm going to convert this to numbers. Again, click here, convert to number. So now my document types are populated. Okay. So main thing is when you're doing VLOOKUP, the lookup information should be on the left side, at most left side. Okay. Similarly, the reference information, you are looking when the table array also should be in the left side. Okay. You should use this as a reference field. Okay. Basically what I'm saying is, see, this is the left side, right? This is the lookup information. And your table array, the reference information should be also on the left side. That makes easier. And then number 2, we have to convert this to numbers for VLOOKUP to pick up the data. Okay. The next thing is posting date. So we will bring the posting date. VLOOKUP, do this information, and then go to table array. I'm actually selecting the other spreadsheet using Alt Tab, which is right here. And then I'm going to bring the posting date here, which is column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Column number 5. Files. So now we have to, if you look at this, this is the posting date, right? This is all the date, but showing in different format. It's showing in a number format. I right click on the format cells, go to
Date, like the 5th one from
date,
the top.
yes, date, yeah. Go to date, so I can, this is the date I want, the date format, I get this, right? Similarly, I can do the document date, username, transaction code, and so on. Make sense?
Right.
So we can do, we got the posting key. Yes, we can do the, well, there's no business area in the file anyways. So this, we didn't have, this completes the one file for one company code, one fiscal year, right? I can save this and then do this again for different company codes. So this is VLOOKUP. So we can do one more. Document date, I select here, click the function, VLOOKUP. So I'm looking up this information. This is, you select this. And then table array is, which is my reference data right here. Right? And then the index number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What I'm selecting now?
Transaction code.
Okay, then it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's the document. No. No, it should be a different one. Document date.
Document date, yes. Which is, I think it's 5 or 6, the 5. No, 4. Right. So we got all this information, and then I'm going to select, I'm going to format this. Select the whole column, double click, format, and then date format. select the date format. So I get the date format. So this is how we'll do it. Now this file is complete. You can send it to the auditors per file, but sometimes they want a complete file for all the company codes, all the fiscal year. It's better to do this per company code per fiscal year, right? Now the next thing is, before you send the file, we have to reconcile, right? We got to make sure we got all the data. Okay. How do you reconcile from here? The best way to do is you can take a couple of GL accounts and go into SAP and run the balances, right? Let's see how we can do it, right? You can also subtotal here if you want to know. Let's do check first. Actually, no, we can do subtotal, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this cell and bring here insert cut cells. Okay, again, I'm going to convert this to numbers. So I brought the GL account on this side, convert to number. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to subtotal GL account and the amount, right? You guys know how to do subtotal, right?
Yeah.
How should I do it?
I know I can do it. Yeah.
Okay. So subtotal is pretty easy. So I'm going to bring this here. So go to insert, 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 pivot table. Okay, select a table or range here. You want to, here it says you want to create a, sorry, let's go on by one. What's the table? My table is this. Okay, this is my table. I've selected this table because I want to subtotal each GL account. Okay, right?
Right.
Okay, this is my range. And then am I going to create a new spreadsheet or existing worksheet? I'm going to create here existing. Click OK. It will tell me actually. So yeah, it is creating here. So when I do subtotal, it is doing all this, taking all the column, all the labels here. Okay. So I'm going to put them in a rows here. GL account, amount in local currency. I don't want the business area because it was in the middle. It came just like that. And then where is mine? Right. And then values. So amount in local currency should be in the value. So I know. Right? So it just should be in the value. Move this here. Okay. I'm going to redo this anyways. Okay, do it again. Go back to home, insert, pivot table. Okay. In the existing worksheet, let's see, location. So first thing I'm going to select the table range, which is this guy. I selected the whole columns. Okay. Select a table range. So I want to select this again. So I want to make sure I see the range here, right? Just select range. Now I'm going to create in the existing worksheet where I'm going to select a column, let's select a cell here. It says, okay, existing worksheet. So this is very important. I select existing worksheet. I got to click somewhere here. Then it says this is where the pivot table will be created. Click OK. Okay. Right. In my pivot table, GL account is in the column. My amount will be in the rows. Okay. Then why it's not coming up? Right. So we got that, right? So for each of the GL accounts, it's subtotal. This is the GL account, this is the amount, right? And the first thing I would do is do this formatting. I should have done this too. So before I send the file, I do a subtotal and then I check in SAP whether this is right. This is the GL account, okay? And then I'm logging into SAP. The simple thing would be FS10N, or you can go to the table. I think the table would be, I guess it's a GLT0 table, I believe. Let's see. GLT0. Right. So there's a table. GLT0. So you can put the GL account and company code, but this gives you detail per period. Okay, but we want the total period, right? This gives you per period. So the best way to do is go to FS10N. This is the account number, and the company code is 0005. Fiscal year is 2006, right? 2006. So I'll execute this. Okay. Now, when I do this balance, this is the balance for all the entries, all the document types. But here, for auditing purposes, we only selected only manual documents, the SA documents, right? So we cannot really actually evaluate this. So 544720, yeah, this is a debit balance, right? So we're missing this 6672, we're missing the debit balance. And why? Let's look at this. So we have the debit balance, we're missing the credit balance. Let's see. That could be, how come? This input tax account. Alrighty. Yeah, because this is ZP. So we excluded ZP, right? We only excluded a couple of some document types. So this is not here. Okay, that's why we only have the debit balance, something to verify, correct? So similarly, we can run a different account, let's say 89500, this GL account, and go back to SAP. So we have to really reconcile before we just give it to them. We can't just blindly say my work is correct, you know, my whatever I collected is correct. You can't really judge, you can't really guess, right? You can't really assume. So 89500 has a 1.3 million. We have it here, 1.3 million, but I think the document numbers, these are different document types maybe, okay? So which we did not exclude. So let's, in other words, these are the manual documents posted. These are not. So this is out of scope, okay? Right? So far clear?
Yeah.
And then one more thing here is, we only have vendor name, sorry, account number. We have to get the vendor name here, right? Because the audit clearly mentions it is a vendor name, not the number. Okay. Where is it? I didn't put it.
Vendor name is in a different table.
All right. So vendor name here. We need vendor name and customer name, which is a different table. So let's check vendor name, which is LFA1. Now I will go back to SAP, go to the table. LFA1. Okay. Then this vendor, I'm going to copy these vendors. These are the vendors I have. Open this. Copy from clipboard, paste from clipboard. Right, execute. And then I don't need all the information. Right click, deselect all. And then select vendor and then the name. This is the only thing we need. So I'm going to execute this. Okay. So I only have 4 of them, right? It's very simple. I can copy paste into another spreadsheet. Okay, I can do a VLOOKUP. Just spreadsheet here. Then I can do a VLOOKUP here. So insert an entry, insert vendor name, right? So I will do the VLOOKUP of this. Before that, I need to do is what I need to do. I need to convert them to numbers. Select them and then convert to number. Okay, so now VLOOKUP. Do this. My lookup value is all the vendor number. My table array would be the next spreadsheet here. Okay, then the column number 2. Files. I think there's something wrong. So my V vendor S column, my table array would be, oh, let's see. I guess I know what's happening. Okay. When I copy pasted, right? Okay. 1006. Why this did not take 1000? 1006 black KG. Okay, let's do it again. This is the 1000. We look up, yes, look up this information. My table array would be next spreadsheet. Okay. Next number is 2. This works. May spill beyond the edges of the worksheet. Would you like to use the formula instead? No. What do you mean spill beyond the spreadsheet? I don't know what that means. Beyond the spreadsheet. Any idea?
Thinking, Jay. Can't think of anything. What is strange is it's picking up the first 1006, but
Right.
in the same row, it's not picking up the other 1006.
Right. Yeah, now it's okay. What did I do? I did something different. I forgot. Right. Okay, now it works. What did I do? I did something. I forgot. I did this. Yeah, I forgot. Anyways. Anyway, this works. So we got the vendor name. Similarly, if you have a customer account number, we go to the LF KN A1 table and then get the customer number and so on. And then imagine this is all huge spreadsheets. Okay, now we're just doing just simple VLOOKUP. So we really have to break this down into and create multiple files. Now we don't want to remove. I mean, we don't want to keep this, right, because it's not applicable. Not applicable is a formula. So we don't want to see this, right? So before we send it to them. One thing is you can do this, filter this information, okay, and just select not applicable, okay, and then just remove it, just delete it. I think it's because of the formula. I'm not sure why I'm not able to delete this. What? Okay, it's not working. Anyway, so what we will do now is because this information is copied over, right? These are formula. Okay, before we send it to them, this field they're referencing from other Excel spreadsheet. If you are sending just this spreadsheet, not the other one, right? It will break. The link will break from the other spreadsheet. So what you have to do, we have to paste them into values because right now they are showing us, all of them are showing us formulas, right? So what I'm going to copy all of them, and then I did Control C here, okay, and then go back here in the first line. This is field, paste special, and click on values. When I do that, it will only copy the values. The formulas are gone. That way, it stays there. Even if you transfer the file, send it to somebody, this data will still remain the same. Okay. Yeah. So this is we did from BSEG, and we did a lookup and bring the document header information into this file.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we also did we also showed how to reconcile the data. Okay, now some people said your guy might say, I want the text file. How do you convert this to text file, right? Or somebody might say they want a comma separated values, right? So comma separated values is basically you can save this Excel as a .csv file. Okay.
Yep.
So for example, why they do that? Because sometimes when you're loading this into interface, okay, interface would not take Excel file. They wanted comma separated values. Each field, right? Let's say your interface is reading this information. Okay. So for the date for this interface, how would they know, right? How would they know where the first field starts, where the second field starts, right? So that is
Yep.
why they use a comma separated values. We can go back and open the file which we just created. If it open here, no. Right. I saved this file and then opened that in .csv in the text file. See, this has a comma. This separates the value so that when interface can read the data where the posting date starts. Okay, my fourth field is the posting date. Fourth field is a document date, and then eighth field is the posting key, and so on. Right? If there's empty, there's an empty column. Empty, comma separated values. This is helpful when you load the data into when you are when you're using an interface. Okay, that's number one. Some people ask for a dot text file. I just need a txt file. That situation, I mean, generally they have all the tools and to convert them. But if they ask me for this, what I will do, I will just go copy the whole thing, right? The whole data, Control C, and open a notepad. Notepad is, it contains, you can capture the raw data. I can just copy paste here. I can send it to them. So this another way, right? So this the interface can read, okay, that's a separate space here, right? You can read every tab, okay? It's also called data tab delimited, okay? So it stores as a data tab delimited, and then you can send this file so they can load the data, okay?
Yep.
Right, I'm gonna save this. Now let's say I want to convert this to Excel file. How do you convert this? Anybody know how to convert the text file to Excel file?
I'm not sure, but could you do it under save as type? Like,
Say if you do
no?
save as, right, system would not, everything will go into one column. I think everything will go into one column, all this information. Okay, the best way would be there's a process to convert text file to let's do this. How do you call this? Audit file 00, I guess 5 fiscal year 2006, right? I'm saving this file as a text file. Okay. So I want to convert this to Excel. I'm going to close all of them. No. So what do? I go back to my file here. Okay, right here. Right click. This is the text file. Right click, open with. If there's an Excel shows, you can show Excel. Otherwise, I got to switch the app. Or what you can do, open Excel. Okay. Now I'm going to open this file. Open. And then search. Browse. all files. This all files. Where's my audit files? Right here. Okay. So I'm going to open this in Excel. When I open it, system as a wizard, Excel as a wizard, which helps you to convert this to text file into meaningful Excel format. Okay, right now it's put everything into first row. See, no gap, nothing. Okay, if your data has a header, you can select my data has a header, which means the first row will be ignored. Okay, let's say it's a delimited or fixed width. The file is fixed width, right? I'm going to do fixed width here. When it is fixed width, system gives automatically. System has some kind of intelligence to parse the data. They call it parse the data. It's parsing the data. Now I go back, I use delimited. This is much better. Okay, system is automatically, right, because the Excel file, the text file has a delimiter, like a tab delimiter. They call it tab delimited, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually separating them nicely. So yeah, that's all I need. If you want to separate, for example, sometimes you need, I don't want I want this assignment to be split. You can do that as well. For example, go here. Okay. And if you want to split, you can split as well. Okay. Now I'm going to finish this. See, I got the data, same data. Okay. So this is how you convert from Excel to text to Excel. Okay, any questions?
No.
Noted.
All right, so you have enough things to do. And then what do we do tomorrow? Yeah, so we continue doing this. For today, I think that's all we have.